Pino's morning looks like anyone else's. A little warm, a gentle stretch, a cup of something warm, and a screen lighting up with tasks. But look closer, and time begins to split. One clock becomes two. Two calendars blink. 5 bosses whisper through 5 glowing windows. Somewhere in the real world, this wasn't fiction. This was Soham Parekh. Soham wasn't stealing time. He was multiplying it. A full-time techie at not one, but multiple companies. All remote, all real, all hidden in plain sight. No tricks, just talent, timing, and a system that forgot how to notice.
In the age of remote work, visibility became optional. No office doors, no coffee corners, just results. And Soham, he delivered everywhere. But in the silence between meetings, a question waited: is this brilliance or betrayal?
When the story broke, it broke hard. Some cheered him, some condemned him. HRs panicked, startups cringed, LinkedIn split in half. And Soham? He vanished into the blur. Grave, symbolic, leaving behind a mirror no one wanted to look into.
Maybe Soham's story isn't the only one. Maybe it's just the first to get caught. Because behind every remote login, there's someone balancing dreams and deadlines, survival, and ambition. And maybe, just maybe, this isn't about one man at all. So what really happened here? A man multiplied his work. And we multiplied our judgment. But maybe the real story isn't about moonlighting. Maybe it's about the shadows we created in the new world of work. This was the what. To truly understand anything, we must ask when it all began. That was before. Before the masks, before the mute buttons, before time zones melted into each other, like spilled coffee on a keyboard. Then came a moment the world never truly walked back from. It wasn't just the year we went home. It was the year we left behind the idea of work as a place. Commutes collapsed, dress codes vanished, the hum of office life became a hum in our headphones. But in that silence, something else moved in. As the world normalized remote work, remote workers quietly rewrote the rules. Not in protest, not in rebellion, but in survival, in silence. One job, then 2, then more. Soham's timing wasn't random, it was inevitable. From the pandemic's chaos emerged a new normal. Companies became flexible, tools became smarter, oversight became optional. Suddenly, the impossible, managing 5 jobs, wasn't science fiction, it was Soham's Tuesday. In the remote era, time unhooked itself from meaning. 9 to 5? A myth. Lunch breaks? Negotiable. Work hours? Fluid, like tabs in a browser. So when did Soham cross the line? Maybe there was no line to begin with, just a shifting horizon we all pretended to still see. Soham's story didn't start when the world noticed. It started when the world changed and forgot to update its own rulebook. This wasn't a glitch. It was a feature of the moment we're living in. A moment where work is everywhere and nowhere at once. This was when. But every moment lives somewhere. Let's find the place where it all unfolded. And also, nowhere. No company gate was crossed, no ID card scanned, no boss's footsteps down a hallway. The map of Soham's work life wasn't a map at all. It was a cloud, a floating constellation of glowing rectangles, scattered across time zones, held together by Wi-Fi and willpower. This wasn't the office. This was the corner of a rented flat. The space between a toddler's nap and a client call. It was breakfast counters doubling as boardrooms, bedrooms moonlighting as mission control. And the truth is, that's not just Soham, that's millions, quietly commuting, without moving. Remote work erased geography, and for a while, that felt liberating. But when you remove place, you remove protection too. No one sees how long you sit. No one sees how often you skip meals. No one sees you. Soham's wear was everywhere, but he was still alone in it. We used to say, work from home. But over time, did we start living at work? Soham didn't build a system. He stepped into a vacuum, a world where location no longer protected identity. And when no one knows where you are, how can they know who you are? There used to be a line, then the line became a blur, then the blur became normal. In the everywhere of remote work, there is no front gate to walk out of, no elevator that takes you home, no break room where someone asks, "Are you okay?" Soham's where wasn't secret. It was just invisible. So where did this happen? Right here. In the space you're sitting in the device you're watching this on. The truth is, we're all a little like Soham now, drifting through digital rooms, hoping someone notices we're still inside. This was where. Behind every place, there's someone who shaped it. Let's meet them. A symptom? Maybe the question isn't what he did. Maybe it's who he became to survive. Behind 5 tabs, 5 bosses, 5 work cultures, was one quiet man trying to stay needed. He didn't break the system. He followed it to its edge. He played by its rules until the rules stopped making sense. When everyone asked for productivity, he delivered 5-fold. When the world valued efficiency, he became frictionless. When companies wanted outcomes, he became invisible. Soham didn't hack the future. He simply arrived early. Soham was not just one thing. He was many, maybe too many. But isn't that what work quietly asks of us now? To be on call and online, to be efficient but creative, to smile, even when we're tired. He wore the masks because the system never asked what face was underneath. They called him an outlier, a one-off, a warning sign. But sometimes when a story feels too unusual, it's because we're not ready to see how common it truly is. Soham wasn't a virus in the machine. He was the machine, trying to breathe. If Soham is a story, he's not the only one in it. He just got caught, while the rest of the world keeps logging in. And maybe the real who isn't Soham at all. Maybe it's us. So who was Soham Parekh? A reflection in the blue light of our own screens. But even people have reasons, and every story has a heartbeat. Let's ask why. Maybe the answer is in the space between dreams and do's, between rising rents and frozen salaries, between glowing LinkedIn posts and empty refrigerators. Sometimes, we build double lives when a single life doesn't pay enough. Soham didn't game the system. He listened to it. Deliver results, be efficient, stay online, don't need too much. So he followed the music, but danced on multiple floors. Because no one ever asked how many floors there were. We don't always talk about the second job, or the freelance hustle after midnight, or the fear of being replaceable. Because in the age of remote work, you're not hired for your story. You're hired for your silence. And maybe Soham just whispered louder than most. Let's not pretend this was just one man's doing. The tech dream sold us freedom. Work from anywhere, balance, wellness. But quietly, companies learned to stretch us thinner, and we learned to survive by splitting in two. Maybe Soham wasn't breaking the rules. Maybe he was living inside the ones we stopped admitting existed. Why Soham? Why this story? Because it holds up a mirror to the modern worker. Multitasking, multi-logging, multiplying themselves because no one stops to ask, is one life enough anymore? He didn't do it just for the money. He did it because the system made it make sense. Because we all watched the walls fall and hoped no one would peek behind them. Intentions are one thing, but how it all worked? That's where the truth lives. Drop a call. You don't rush, you rotate. Morning sprint here, lunch break there, a VPN, a new Slack login, and a second cup of coffee for your second boss. It wasn't chaos, it was choreography. And Soham, he danced with tabs. In remote work, nobody sees the sweat, only the output. Soham built checklists like camouflage, one JIRA ticket, one code commit, one status update just timely enough. He was present, on paper, on screen, and rarely, in person. He mastered the art of switching without context loss. A QA bug here, a UI tweak there, a design review in one voice, a sprint planning in another. His calendar? A puzzle with no missing piece. Just hidden pieces. This wasn't multitasking, it was mask-wearing, time to the second. There were no clocks on his wall, only deliverables in his inbox. A task assigned in PST was finished in IST. Deadlines bent as long as results didn't break. How did Soham do it? He made time obey him. Like water. Like code. Like magic. None of this would have worked in 2010, or even in 2018. But now, the system was built for ghosts. Digital first. Presence optional. Culture as a service. When the world went hybrid, the gaps opened wide, and Soham didn't fall through them. He used them. So how did he do it? With discipline, with clarity, with silence, and with a belief that maybe no one was really watching. The tools were ready, the rules were vague, the need was real. And Soham, he just followed the blueprint the world left behind. This was how. We began with what happened, unfolded when the shift began, discovered where it quietly played out, met who stood at the center, asked why it all made sense, and didn't, and revealed how it was even possible. Because truth, real truth, has 6 sides. If that changed how you see the world, hit the like button, subscribe to Shat-Kona, comment your opinion. One topic, 6 truths, every week. Let's keep exploring together.